Right then, agents. That comment didn't go down too well, did it? Mr. Yannick the Beard suggesting a potential striker nerf. I wouldn't panic too much just yet. I think that you're going to be absolutely fine. Because even if one does, it was only a suggestion of something that said that they were looking at. There are things in the game already that are very competitive to the current striker, and in my opinion, already better. That's just my opinion, but we will get into it. So we're just in the firing range today. I want this to be a nice controlled environment. I've put some builds together. I've spent lots of resources this morning getting 3 DPS builds together that are considered like the meta at the moment and what everybody is kind of running. They are all just standard builds. There's no prototype going on here right now. I've even gone and got some weapons to try and keep it all fair. I've got a Lexington with streamlined on it, so the damage is just constant. There's no additional buffs or stacking required and that sort of thing. I am very aware that there's lots of different variants of these builds and stuff, but this is just to try and keep it as controlled as possible and just look at some of the numbers. Okay, guys? So we will start off with Concentrated Company. I've already pre-stacked it a little bit. We will just finish stacking this up right quick and we'll go over to the DPS target. I've spoken about Concentrated Company in previous videos. This is my favourite DPS set for a lot of reasons, which we will talk about once we have got this fully stacked up. There we go, we're there. So with Concentrated Company you'll get a ridiculous amount of critical hit damage, a ridiculous amount of weapon damage. And once it's stacked up, you can see on the screen right now, like, I'm not losing any stacks really at all. Like, if this was a mission running between encounter to encounter, the second that I get into the room to start another fight, I'm gonna be at maximum potential. Like, it won't go away. There's no no restacking required. Maybe 1 or 2 kills. So now we'll go over to the DPS target here and we'll just look at some of the numbers. What am I doing? There you go. Get this stacked up again right quick so we're at full. There you go. Right. So, to the body. We're tipping just over 1 million. Again, it's not prototyped or anything. The gun isn't even prototyped. There's no expertise levels involved in this. And that's what we're doing to the body. You go to the head. You're at 1.2. Alright, guys. And this is incredibly consistent. It's, once you're stacked up, you're just rolling with it. This already is my favourite. And what I would suggest people actually start looking into a bit, because if you're concerned about a striker nerf coming in, you'll see why. So with the next one, we will go down to a tip and scales. Again, it's a tip and scales build, so we are running an LMG. I know that one of the fan favourites is the GR9, so I made one of those with streamlined on again. And this is a typical tip and scales build that you will see. All of the stats as well, more to the point, they're all, I tried to keep it all level, so it's all as fair as possible. And then you've got your tip and scales, and then it takes a little bit of time to get that all fully stacked up because I am running the chest piece and the backpack on it. But it does seem to be the current meta with this. So that's nice and full now. So we're already doing 1.4, 1.5 to the head. It's not my personal favourite because it does require you to be a little bit more stationary and you need to be behind cover laying down fire. Because if you're not firing, you are losing stacks very quickly. But that's already very powerful. Okay, and then last but not least, we will go to the striker. So there we go. Now, with striker, I have a serious issue with Striker because a lot of people in comment sections and when I talk to them will tell me that Striker is the best DPS build, and they are correct with it, but not necessarily how I always see it being ran, because it is always with the Striker backpack and a chest piece with equalizer on it. Sorry, a chest piece with obliterate on it, and I am using the equalizer and the salvo because it seems to be a fan favourite at the moment. I see a lot of people running it this way. And when you run it like that without the chest piece, the damage on it, if you're talking about just purely numbers that appear on the screen, it's very similar to Concentrated Company. Now, I am also very aware that the increase to the fire rate on this gear set will push that DPS up. But every single gunfight that you go into, depending on the time between them, you are having to restack that. And sometimes you can go in and you'll have nothing, and you are starting incredibly weak. Now, I do appreciate that this is the gear set that you go to when you have to have a DPS check to get done, because it is very reliable, it's very tested, and we know it will work. But if you're talking about just pure numbers, the difference between these are minimal. And even if they do nerf this set, you really do not need to be worried. Like, the damage numbers are there. I did try and keep this as fair as I possibly could in terms of the crit chance and the crit damage and things. It's a little bit more difficult with the crit damage because Concentrated Company and Timid Scales, they both increase the crit damage. But I did try and keep the crit chance and things as fair as I could, running the same guns and all of that business. If you are concerned about the Striker nerf, don't. There's already things in this game that are very competitive to it. And if you want to talk about it, are there things that are better? My opinion, yes there are. That is just my opinion. Roast me for it in the comments all that you want, but that is just my opinion. I moved away from using Striker when Concentrated Company came into this game, because if you want to talk about efficiency and getting out as much damage consistently, that gear set does do it better. Once you are stacked up and you're rolling through, the second you enter a gunfight, I am hitting the damage numbers that a fully stacked out Striker will hit. The only way that that build is beaten is by running a Striker chest piece, and I know this piece is prototyped, but the rolls are not amazing on it. Yeah, crit damage mod on there right quick. Yeah, we'll have that one. The only way that that gear set is beaten with Striker is if you run it with the chest piece and the backpack, and if you run, we'll put on a contractor's pair of gloves. This will now comfortably beat Concentrated Company, but you've got to do double the amount of work to get it there. And even then, it's not that much different. Like, the damage numbers are higher and the RPMs are higher, but nobody runs this gear set with the chest piece and the backpack that I see, really. It's very rare unless you're in like your real high-end escalations and stuff. But it will still work, guys. It will, even if they do. They've already nerfed this once and everybody lost their minds. Even if it does get nerfed again, because of the simplicity of this set and all you have to do there is no drawback. Like once upon a time, if you missed shots with Striker, you would lose stacks. They got rid of that. It's still called Striker's Gamble. The 4-piece is still called Striker's Gamble. There's no gamble involved. None. It's shoot something, and it will be more powerful. Even if they did bring back the missed shots will lose stacks, if you still can't maintain your stacks with Striker, then you need to get better. And that's not a bad thing, because people are resting on their laurels a lot with this set, and that's fine. I appreciate that people don't have the time to put in and that sort of thing, and they want to come on and they're a more casual player and they just want to be able to get through the content. But you still will be able to do that. It might just take a little bit more work. Alright guys, so until next time, you take it easy.